Dear viewers, today let's talk about one hard truth. Maharashtra is one of India's richest states, but it's also sitting on a mountain of debt that keeps getting bigger every year. The latest numbers show that the state's total debt, which was about 7.8 lakh crore, is now expected to shoot up to around 9.3 lakh crore in this financial year itself. That's an increase of roughly 1.5 lakh crore in just 1 year. If you divide this huge amount by the population, it works out to around 80,000 to 82,000 of debt on the head of every single citizen of Maharashtra, including you, your family, everyone. Of course, you don't get a bill at home, but the impact comes in another way. More of the government's money goes into paying interest on old loans and less is left for new schools, better hospitals, jobs or infrastructure. Hi, this is Khatija and you're watching Lokmat Times. In this video, let's break down what exactly is happening with Maharashtra's debt, why the numbers are rising so fast, what the government says and what the opposition is strongly criticizing. But before we move ahead, do subscribe and press the bell icon for all the latest updates. First, the basic picture. Maharashtra's total debt is projected to climb to around 9.32 lakh crore in 2025 to 26, up from roughly 7.82 lakh crore earlier. That's a jump of about 1.5 lakh crore in a very short time. The government has also brought in very large supplementary demands. This is extra budget that is added in the middle of the year. In the latest session, the government placed supplementary demands of about 75,000 crore, which pushed the overall size of the budget up sharply. Now, what are supplementary demands? Let's quickly understand this term. In simple words, the main budget is like planning your yearly expenses in advance. Supplementary demands are like going back to your parents mid-year and saying, I need a lot more money than I thought. These are meant for genuine emergencies, natural disaster, war, or truly unexpected cost. But in Maharashtra, critics say these huge supplementary demands have become a routine habit, not an exception. Under the current government, the total value of such extra demands has crossed well over 1.7 lakh crore, which suggests the original budgeting is either too optimistic or not honest about real spending plans. The most important question is, why is this debt rising? Well, the government gives a few reasons. One, big infrastructure and connectivity projects, highways, metro lines, and other capital works require heavy upfront spendings, so they borrow. Two, there are new welfare schemes and subsidies, such as cash transfer schemes for women and other social programs. Three, the state has to keep paying interest on older loans, which itself is a huge recurring cost. Because of these factors, Maharashtra's revenue deficit, that is, when day-to-day spending is more than day-to-day income, has gone up to around the mid 40,000 crore range. And the fiscal deficit, the total gap including capital spending, is projected at over 1.3 lakh crore. These gaps are mainly filled through the borrowing, which adds to the debt stock. Now, how does this affect the citizen? On paper, you and your family don't directly pay this 80 to 82,000 per person debt, but the effect shows up in indirect ways. A bigger chunk of the state's revenue has to be set aside every year just to service debt, paying interest and repaying past loans. When so much money is locked into servicing debt, there is less flexibility for the government to invest in new public services. That can mean slower improvement in public transport, fewer quality government schools and colleges, delayed payments to contractors, and pressure to raise taxes or charges later. Now coming to the opposition part, the opposition parties have gone on the offensive over these numbers. They argue that every citizen carrying debt of around 80,000 is a result of fiscal mismanagement, not just bad luck or global conditions. They point out that interest payments are eating up a big part of the budget, which they say is a direct outcome of reckless borrowing. They also accuse the government of using supplementary demands as a backbone, instead of honestly putting all major schemes and expenses in the main budget. Where they would face more debate, the government keeps adding big amounts mid-year. According to them, this shows poor planning and weak financial discipline. So that's the big picture. Now, based on the official data and reports, let's see how serious this really is. Let's break it point by point. First, overuse of supplementary demands. Extra spending of about 75,000 crore in just the latest round, with total supplementary demands under this dispensation going beyond 1.7 lakh crore. Looks more like a new normal than an emergency tool. Second, rising deficits. Revenue and fiscal deficits have widened significantly, so the state is borrowing not just for long term projects but also to run its regular expenses, which is considered risky. Third, high per citizen burden. Estimates that each citizen is effectively carrying around 80,000 to 82,000 in a state debt are being used by critics to show how deep the problem has become. Fourth, execution and planning issues. Reports from assembly debates say some departments are not even able to spend their original allocations, yet fresh funds are being demanded for others late in the year. The opposition calls this confused ad HOC planning, ad hoc planning. Fifth, populist schemes versus sustainability. Big welfare announcements and subsidized together with rising interest costs may crowd out long-term capital investment, which opposition leaders say can hurt Maharashtra's growth in the coming years. So Maharashtra being a rich state does not automatically mean its finances are safe. The debt is mounting, deficits are widening, and more of the budget is being eaten up by old loans and new promises. The government argues this is necessary investment and welfare, but the opposition say it is irresponsible short-term politics that leaves the next generation to pay the price. So those are the facts, those are the questions being raised. Now it's over to you. Do you think this level of debt and these decisions are justified? Or is Maharashtra being pushed towards a risky future? Tell me your thoughts in the comments.